The Pentagon made an important statement today about the war in the Middle East. The U.S. Department of Defense is preparing for possible large-scale ground operations in Iran, which could last several weeks and mark a new, significantly more dangerous phase of the war. At the same time, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio warned European partners that the war against Iran will last at least another month. At the same time, the U.S. Navy ship USS Tripoli arrived in the Middle East, carrying 3,500 American sailors and Marines on board, as well as, importantly, aircraft and weapons. This was officially announced by the United States Central Command. Several more ships with thousands of soldiers are on their way, and importantly, armored vehicles, which are used on land. My name is Alexei Pipits. Let's discuss this topic together. But before we start this episode, I ask you to support the work of this YouTube channel. If you consider the information on this channel important and necessary, you can support this channel financially through donations, subscriptions, or sponsorship on YouTube. To do this, all the links and details are in the description of this video. I will be grateful for any support you can give. Also, subscribe to my Telegram channel, Peachy News. The link to it is also in the description of this video. So, the Pentagon is developing a plan for a ground operation in Iran designed to last at least several weeks. This was reported by the Washington Post, citing American officials. According to them, this is not about a full-scale military invasion, but about targeted raids by special forces and infantry. Officials said that a ground operation in Iran has been discussed by the White House over the past month. The main scenario was capturing Kark Island, which handles 90% of Iran's oil exports. It is key to the oil exports of the Islamic Republic. Raids in the coastal areas of the Hormuz Strait were also considered with the aim of searching for and destroying weapons capable of targeting commercial and military vessels in the Hormuz Strait. This way, the US could prevent Iran from blocking this maritime corridor, which accounts for 20% of the world's oil shipments. One official said that achieving these goals would take weeks. Another estimated the potential time frame at a couple of months. At the same time, US President Donald Trump has not yet given the green light to the Pentagon for a ground operation. The Washington Post notes that any ground operations are associated with a wide range of threats to personnel, including, of course, Iranian drones, missiles, ground fire, and improvised explosive devices. Earlier, Trump, let me remind you, postponed strikes on Iran's energy sector until April 6th for the sake of negotiations which, according to him, are progressing very well. And by the way, today, March 29 negotiations on de-escalating the war are taking place in Islamabad. Trump, let me remind you that there is a wide range of threats, including, of course, Iranian fire, according to representatives of the Ministries of Foreign Affairs of Egypt, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan. The negotiations will last 2 days. И напомню, что Пакистан выступает explosive devices. Meanwhile, contradictory statements are coming from the White House regarding the further actions of the United States. Well, for example, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio stated on March 27 that the war in Iran would not be prolonged. Trump, let me remind you, ground forces, in turn White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, are linked to many threats, will not give up nuclear ambitions, and will not stop threatening. Personal land, homemade devices. Trump, let me remind you, that's hell. She also clarified that the Pentagon's job is to be ready for anything. Ground operations are associated with a wide range of threats to personnel, including, of course, Iranian missiles and ground fire. Earlier, the same Marco Rubio stated at the G7 ministers' meeting that the war with Iran would last at least another 4 weeks. This is the first time a high-ranking official has mentioned explosive devices. He suggested that the war would last longer than the 4 to 6 weeks President Trump mentioned since the beginning of the war. During Friday's meeting in France, Trump reminded that any ground operations are widely exposed to Iranian drones and that ground operations take time. Thousands more troops are being sent to the region, and the Trump administration is still considering escalation options, which may include the use of ground forces. Trump... Ну и здесь у Трампа появилось... that there are real problems, because Marco Rubio said that there are a wide range of threats, including, of course, decisions being made in Tehran. At the moment, he says, we don't know who to talk to. Rubio added that there are 2 Iranian officials, but they need approval from the top leadership. Rubio stated that intermediaries find it difficult to communicate with Iranian officials because they avoid using the phone. Trump, let me remind you that they will be found and killed, and as you understand, this slows down the pace of negotiations. But the fact that the US already has ground operations in Iran and may start them in the near future is being discussed widely in March. Axios' sources among American officials also noted that the Pentagon is preparing to deliver a final, devastating threats, including, of course, Iranian drones, missiles, and improvised explosive devices. По их данным, помимо захвата острова Trump, let me remind you that any ground operations come with a wide range of threats to personnel, including, of course, Iranian missiles and ground fire. On March 8th, the amphibious assault ship USS Tripoli, with 3,500 sailors and Marines, arrived in the area of responsibility of the United States Central Command in the Middle East. Earlier, a group of 3 amphibious ships was sent to the region. USS Portland and USS Comstock. The 82nd Airborne Division. There are about 4,000 Marines there in total. Trump said that any ground operations are associated with a wide range of threats, including Iranian drones, missiles, and fire. Later, the dock landing ship USS Rushmore, which is currently based in Japan. I should note that without all these listed military personnel, the current US contingent in the Middle East numbers 50,000 service members, so you should add at least another 10 to 15,000 to that number. At the same time, Iran, Trump, let me remind you, ground operations are associated with the southern gates to the Suez Canal, through which up to 12 pass. A range of threats to personnel, including, of course, Iranian drones, missiles, and ground fire. The Houthis have officially entered the war, and it is they who will block the Red Sea if the threat is carried out. Tehran, Trump. Let me remind you that any ground operations involve a wide range of threats to personnel, including, of course, Iranian drones, missiles, ground fire, and improvised explosive devices. Trump, the ground spectrum of threats includes drones, and according to experts, Iranian forces, particularly the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, may actively defend strategic facilities and use infrastructure as cover. But it's worth noting that Donald Trump's new deadlines are also relentlessly slipping away, just like the previous two, by the way. That's why the US is speeding up the deployment of ground forces to the region, so a ground attack is clearly being prepared. I'll leave it at that. Share your opinions and conclusions in the comments below this episode, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and don't forget to like. If you want to support the work of this YouTube channel financially, you can do so through donations. How can you do that? All the links and details are in the description of this video. Or you can use the QR code on your screens. That's all for now. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye, everyone.